Well, the problem for this young man will be returning this fearsome serve, arguably one of the best 4 in the world. And a beautifully early ball here, taken by Hewitt, rifling that cross-court backhand pass. The control and accuracy on that two-hander is formidable, and the disguise. Foot fault. So the man restored at the top of the world rankings, Pete, at this stage of the year since '91.
Yeah, well, I think he's coming down to the rest of the field, or the rest of the field, or the rest of the world is coming up to him. And you know, he just had to let up a little bit. There's a lot of young players, and certainly in recent years, there hasn't been anybody to match him, probably since Agassi was at his peak, you know, 4 or so years ago. So he's had a quite, shall I say, not quite as challenged in the last few years, but they're coming up now.
Well, there's his strength, that two-hander. Mind you, the forehand's not very shabby either. It's pretty good.
He's a very solid all-round player. His backhand cross-court is his best shot.
Quite fearless, this young teenager, just 18 years old, and his birthday in February. And last year, when he won his first tournament, he was equally fearless in beating first Agassi and then Stoltenberg.
Hewitt. One game.
So a good start by the young man.
It's always nice to get that first game under your belt. He's not a huge server, but he's very accurate, very tricky server. He will serve the ball wide and very accurately down the center on the backhand side on the second court.
15 minutes.
Backhand cross court.
15.
There are the proud parents of Leighton Hewitt. Dad Glenn, a former Aussie rules footballer, and his wife Sherilyn, who's a PE teacher. And Pat, the interesting thing is they have a daughter who's very good, and she's just been picked for the national Australian 16 and under team that's going to play in the Juniors World event for teams at that age group, so quite a family.
Well, it was a solid return and a solid volley too. Maybe not quite far enough away. Sampras was looking for that cross court. It's given Hewitt 2 break points.
30-40. By 2 games to 1.
Well, there's the first break of serve, and Hewitt is handling this big serve very well, just as he did against Mark Philippoussis. That will have done him a world of good to, of course, had that experience of a big server playing a similar one today. But let's now just remind ourselves about the basic details. Here they are, as I've said, 18. Not by today's standards very tall, 5'11", but very compact. His best ranking at the moment, 42, and he's won those 2 titles, Adelaide last year and Delray Beach this year, and he's been in a couple of finals as well. Another one in Adelaide where Enquist beat him, but then Enquist was beating practically everybody except Feldikov in Australia in January. And he is immensely talented, Pat, and I suppose the big question we want to know is he really big enough?
It's a good question, actually. I don't think he's quite got enough power in his game to worry a lot of the top players at this stage. But what he does, he counter-punches very, very well. And on his favourite surface, a slow, medium-pace hard court, he's very, very deadly. And he's doing well on the grass here because he uses the opponent's pace.
15 left.
That's his most successful serve this week, for sure, without a doubt, that sliding one out to the forehand. Not so much pace, but certainly bringing the opponent out of court. Watch what Sampras does after he hits this ball. He sees it, can't tell there, but he saw it was a good shot and started tearing towards the net. Good reactions.
30-15. Ladies and gentlemen, please ensure all mobile phones are switched off. Thank you.
It's on frame, just exhorting the public to turn off the mobiles.
40-15.
So not that fast by today's standards, 101 miles an hour, but very accurate, as Pat Cash was mentioning.
Hewitt. Hewitt leads by 3 games to 1.
Well, Pat, who was it who said it isn't a break of serve until you've held your own, and he's done it very well.
Yes, he's come out here. I'll tell you what, do you think Pete Sampras is the 18-year-old out there? He hasn't settled down very well at all, Sampras, yet. Hewitt has got straight down into the business.
I
think Sampras moved all that well to this one. He really left the court open. And if Hewitt had hit that a little bit better, but look where he was when he hit that volley. Very close to the net.
15 all.
This is exactly what Hewitt has to do. He has to get, when he gets that second serve opportunity, he has to really go for it. He's got to put a bit of fear into Sampras.
30-15.
Quite a difference in their demeanours. Sampras very quiet and reserved. Hewitt all bustle. Oh.
48-15.
I think he thought that one was home. Perhaps should have been.
He would have been a little disappointed missing that one. It's probably his easiest one he's had all day. All day. Only 4 games gone, but don't get too many easy ones with Sampras.
Gavin Sampras.
With ace number 4.
Hewitt leads by 3 games to 2.
So they've made good progress, both of them, to this semi-final stage. And Sampras, as one of the top seeds, he's seeded 3 here. That's because the seeded 2 here, but a world ranking of 3, and that's because, of course, Kafelnikov and Rafter are ahead of him in the rankings, and Rafter's not here because Kafelnikov lost. That's how they got here. Woodbridge in 3 sets, 6-4 in the third. Buenath is another Australian, and then Goran Ivanisevic. He was good against Ivanisevic yesterday, Pat.
Well, you've got to be, I suppose, don't you? Against Ivanisevic, you've got to sort of hold on to your serve and then just hope for the best. Hope that you can scramble a few good returns and put a bit of pressure on Goran. People have got to realise that, certainly on grass, that people have got nothing to lose against Sampras. I mean, he's won all the Wimbledon titles there are to win, practically. And the opponents, certainly, I've seen this year, when they come out against Sampras, they realise they've got nothing to lose. They go for shots. They play above themselves. They play better. And on the hard courts where Pete can't hit as many winners or serve as many aces, you know, Sampras finds it hard, naturally.
Love 15.
So good crowding tactics by Sampras, who will find his way to the net as often as this man allows him.
Love 30.
So the pressure being maintained. There's experience for you. Sampras playing here for the 10th time, incidentally. Won it just the once back in '95. Guy Forget in the final.
Well, that's confidence for you. Either off one, then coming in, hitting the drive volley, a la Agassi. Certainly an invention of a shot that's been used a lot in recent years.
30.
Right on the line. Well, that was a great approach shot. That was the only shot that Hewitt really had. He had to hit it perfectly too. That ball skidding, got under that very well. Look at the follow through, straight up behind his head.
Game Hewitt. Hewitt leads by 4-2.
Well, I tell you, he'll be pleased about that performance, holding serve from love 30. Darren Cahill, killer, who is coaching Hewitt, also comes from Adelaide, of course. They're hometown boys.
Former semi-finalist. Yeah, Queens.
15 love.
Well, that's what you do. Stick your racket out and hope for the best. Caught it just fractionally late. There's nothing you can really do when the serve's coming down that fast. You just put your racket out and hope you can reach it. You know you're going to put it in a general direction. Hopefully it'll go a bit better than you expect.
Wow. 15-30.
He's throwing in a few double faults here at the moment, Sampras. Hewitt's done the right thing early on in the match. He's really gone for a couple of second serves, hit a few winners. That's just put a bit of fear into Sampras. He's having to go for a little bit more than he's expected.
30.
Well, he was so quick to this ball and controlled it well down the line. All that Sampras could do was just to hope that he could manage a lob volley, but not high enough. So here's another break point.
Tell you what, that's where you got to hit them to get them away from Leighton Hewitt. He's going to just about run everything down. It's not that close to the net.
Advantage Sampras.
Questioning that call, I've got to say. I thought it was wide as well.
Game Sampras, new balls please. Hewitt leads by 4-3.
So nearly 2 breaks up, but not after all. Sampras saving himself with that precision stop volley. But it's been a very good performance thus far from the young man from Adelaide, who has impressed us really all the week. Diego Narciso, Italy, in the first round, and dropped a set there, but Chris Wilkinson couldn't hold him, nor could Philippoussis, despite taking the tie-break in the first set. And Cedric Pierlin, former Wimbledon finalist, of course, knew and plays well on grass, so that was another impressive win. And he's done everything today to suggest that he's walked on this court believing he's going to win.
Well, that's the attitude you've got to have. He's walking out thinking you're going to lose. Got to say the conditions are absolutely perfect for Leighton Hewitt to make some upsets this week. The weather's been overcast, it's been cold. The balls are not zipping through the air. So his speed and his ability to return anything that is not going like greased lightning, shall we say, is getting him through these matches against the big servers. And Narciso from Italy, he's got a very big serve. Philippoussis, and now Sampras. He's been very comfortable with the big servers.
And he takes the new balls in the 8th game, leading 4-3.
Love 15.
Here was a return of serve that nonplussed him because he read it early, Sampras.
Oh, he really had the opportunity there. Short forehand, had the whole shot down the line there. So if it hit anywhere, there would have been a winner. It's a good tactic if you can do it. Pete Sampras only chip charges on that backhand side on the first court, and he'll chip that down the line. It's a bit of a pattern that some of the players are picking up these days.
Extraordinary that Sampras hasn't really got much timing today, and yet he said himself, you heard him before the match began, that he thought he was playing well here and feeling the ball well on grass.
Very good. Hewitt leads by 5-3.
Well, one of the reasons for sure is that the fact that Hewitt is the first guy that Sampras has played that's actually stayed back consistently, certainly off the first serve. So he's going to have to get the timing adjusted.
15.
Used to having hit balls from the back and then come in. That's a tough thing to do, especially if Hewitt's red hot from the back of the court.
Thank you.
He's been doing it all week, of course.
And the court here is very firm, probably a little firmer than the outside courts. Ball bouncing high, therefore a bit more like a hard court because it's not that fast.
Led second service.
As Tim Henman was saying yesterday.
Yeah, the conditions, I mean, it's very cool out there and cloudy, overcast. When it's hot and sunny, the ball will fly.
30.
So there's the man who's going to take on Sarkisian in the other semi-final, Tim Henman. Keeping a beady eye on the progress of this semi-final very sensibly.
Led second service. Love.
Because he made a late start to the Air Sampras, feeling that the exertions of becoming for the 6th time the world #1 at the end of last year took so much out of him, he needed a rest.
Game Sampras. Hewitt leads by 5-4.
So Sampras missed the Australian Championships, didn't start until San Jose. And of course now he's only playing his 7th tournament of the year without a win, and the confidence that only a win can bring. So he's not the same Sampras at this stage of the year as usual.
No, that's fair to say. It's very fair to say, but of course he's the same player. Maybe not with the same confidence, so that's why he's here, getting confidence. And I would have been game enough to say that if he had lost early in this tournament, that it would have been doubtful whether he could retain his Wimbledon title. But having got a few matches under his belt, it'd be foolish to write him off, that's for sure. But let's see how he goes now under pressure. He's had a few, to say the least, average returning games. But this is where these guys, you know, like Sampras, the top players of the world can compete. And their back's against the wall and they have to break serve. They come up with the goods.
Well, that's what I was meaning about his timing being a little bit awry. He's missed 2 or 3 of those. Just rehearsing it. And exactly the same thing there. So that was a better timed forehand. After missing 2, he made the 3rd.
He's been looking for that one, hasn't he? It's bit by bit coming good.
Well, what a difference. Just a few millimetres makes 2 set points for Hewitt.
Hewitt 6 games to 4.
And delight among the family there for a fine performance. That first set taking just under half an hour.
Second set, Pete Sampras to serve.
And one has to say that the scoreline truly reflects the play.
Love 15. Love 30.
Well, it's been a pretty average performance so far from Sampras. And Paul Annacone there, his coach, won't be too happy with this. Hewitt did hit a good return on the first ball, but he didn't move anything like quickly enough. And then a double fault. And this is exactly what I was talking about before the match. You lose your concentration on grass, a double fault, a good return, and all of a sudden, he snapped at that one.
First.
Love 40. 3 break points.
Well, I think you heard that one. String gone.
Put a bit of money on this being a double fault as well. Come up the new racket, love 40, under real pressure. And second serve.
Let's have your money then.
I didn't hear you, JV, say okay.
It was a good second serve in the circumstances.
Very good.
Foul!
That was the shot. Just caught the top of the tape. Well, Sampras moving in with a bit of urgency there. First time for the match. Really getting in very close. It was a pretty solid return. He's going to have to start getting urgent now.
Advantage Sampras.
So there was the serve that does so much damage, the slider out wide. Often he'll serve it halfway up the service line or three-quarters way up and drag his opponent further out than he did there. Well played.
Game Sampras. First game, second set. First set, Hewitt.
Well, he was teetering on the brink there, and it seemed to me, Pat, that the first volley he played in that last service game was rather a tired shot, or rather a slow shot. He didn't move to the backhand volley at all, did he?
No, he doesn't look like he's warmed up. It's been pretty hard to get warmed out there, up there. It's cold. It's quite chilly. As I said, the conditions are perfect for Leighton Hewitt.
Hewitt with everything to do here, trying to forget that he just had 3 break points.
Love 15.
Well, Sampras has got the first point on a few occasions now. Leighton Hewitt serve, but hasn't done anything with it. Three times, in fact.
Love 30.
Well, there's a bit of surprise. I was just starting to think that game that Sampras is playing, just getting the ball back in the court and waiting for a short ball is just not going to be good enough. This kid's not going to miss one. He just did. First time for the match, though. Going to have to put a bit more pressure on from the back of the court, Sampras.
Love 40.
Well, there's inexperience for you. Double fault at love 30, opening the door for Sampras, who hasn't yet broken the Hewitt serve. 3 break points.
That was very slow moving across there. Sampras.
Marvellous.
30-40.
Marvellous shot here, saving himself down the line.
Hewitt at the moment is getting the opportunities and going with it, going for it. Still Sampras on the break point.
Deuce.
There was the accuracy you spoke of at the start.
Not very powerful, 98 miles an hour, but it's right in the corner. Certainly on a grass court, there's not much you can do about it.
Advantage Sampras.
Looks as if Hewitt is just a little bit tighter than he was. He's perhaps thinking about this position he's in.
Deuce.
And that's another forehand return, and he's missed from that position. That's Hewitt's two best serves are out to the forehand there on the right-handers. Great success with Sampras.
Advantage Hewitt.
And still, Sampras is timing awry.
One game over.
So each man now has faced love 40 and come through it. And frankly, Sampras' timing is a very worrying factor. He must be a little bit rattled.
Leighton Hewitt must be scratching his head going, wait a minute, this guy's one of the all-time greats. He's making a lot of mistakes. Hewitt's best shot, and I'd say is one of the best I've ever seen, is his lob. He has got a fantastic lob. He attempted that one, didn't quite get it, but I'm sure we'll see it before the end of the match.
In fact, it was two killing lobs that contributed to the demise of Agassi in that Adelaide tournament last year.
And across court again, Hewitt. Sampras was there, picked it yet again. Not quite deep enough, only just around the service line. Not going to get over a great athlete like Sampras.
Now, in the past, in these sort of situations, he's always been able to find a really good first serve, get himself out of trouble. Not enough penetration on the serve, and this is what punishment will be meted out.
40, 30.
It's going to be about the fastest serve of the day, Sampras. He realises he's getting in a bit of trouble. He's got to, well, I'm going to say pull his finger out. I'm not sure if that's the saying we have over here. He got under that one very well. Whipping across court. It's his favourite shot. He's not going to miss that one too often. Of course, he also had the option of going down the line. Well, that's more like Pete Sampras we know. Moving well. Big lunging, getting the angles. Using the whole court. Beautiful moving.
Oh, it's out.
Game Sampras. Sampras leads by 2 games to 1. Second set, first set, Hewitt.
Well, Pat, the chance, it seemed to me, for Sampras came there when he'd survived his own serve in the opening game of this set from love 40 and had the young man at love 40 on his serve. Really, that was the time you'd expect a champion to strike, but this youngster's really kept him at bay.
Well, this is the shot he's been missing. Now watch where Sampras is going. He should be moving, cutting the angle off here, but in actual fact he's going sideways or even backwards. So what's happening is the serve is going further and further away from him. This is making it difficult, and he's hitting the top of the tape all the time. I feel that he should be cutting off the angle or going slightly forward as well as sideways. And of course his body weight will be going forward then as well. But you can always, some players used to really charge at the ball. I see Stefan Edberg at certain times used to stand, 4 feet back and really charge the ball, because with the grass court skidding through and a little miss hit, if you've got the momentum going forward, even a miss hit will go down at the feet of the opponent if he's serve volleying. But in this case, Leighton Hewitt's doing very well because he's playing his own game. He's staying back. Even if Sampras does hit a miss hit return, it's not going to go at his feet. He's playing very cleverly.
Can't find the court at all at the moment.
It was about 20 feet out, that shot. And he's just working his way into the match. And Hewitt's just trucking along.
So Sampras having a relatively easy one thanks to the wrong footing volley. Often does go behind the man.
God, that's quite the return.
15-30.
This is a very, very important point now. Sampras striving to get a couple of break points.
I tell you what, that was very, very close. Did it touch the edge of the line? That's in for my liking. It just has to touch the outside of the edge of the line and it's still in. But Sampras has got 2 break points.
Very, very slow getting to that slightly shorter ball. One saved. So 5 break points in all have been saved by Hewitt.
What a point. Unbelievable tennis. He's pretty pumped up about that one. Fantastic pickups to get back into the point.
Advantage Hewitt.
Well, the power is with Hewitt at the moment.
Game Hewitt. 2 games over.
And that time, Sampras really should have broken the serve. No question, he'd earned an easy smash. Decided to make it a bit of a showboating exercise and didn't make the job as easy as it should have been.
And the bottom line, JV, is that you just got to take your opportunities. They don't come around too often these days. Certainly on the grass, where a guy can hit a good serve and you know, maybe a lucky shot, miss hit. You've got to grab them whenever they appear. And that really was a very easy shot for Sampras to break serve with and to jump around, and could have done a lot better with it.
You may have heard Leighton Hewitt just chuntering about calls on the sideline. Well, he has suffered 2 or 3 times with very close ones.
40 love.
Fifth ace.
Let first service.
So there's the little device that measures vibration so that we know whether it was a let or not. Sampras is going to have to work very hard to pull this match round. He really is. And this close to the championships, he won't want to make this his last match before defending his title.
Game Sampras.
Well, there's a man who'll be keenly watching young Hewitt's performance. Tony Roach, the Davis Cup coach, alongside last year's winner here, Scott Draper.
Game Hewitt. New balls, please. Three games on.
And the cup.
Nice to get an easy game for a change for Hewitt. It's had two very, very tough service games.
4 aces now. Hewitt, of course, was attached to the Australian Davis Cup squad last year. Not in the team, but in the squad.
Love 15.
Just too short. Right on the forehand there. Hasn't found his accuracy in many parts of his game at the moment today.
Left. First service.
Hewitt, of course, is in the Davis Cup squad at the moment, which is a very good team. Philippoussis, Rafter and the Woodies.
And Sampras, too, has said that he's prepared to rejoin the American Davis Cup team because they play the Australians. That's going to be quite a battle in July in Boston. Although he's made it clear he doesn't look for a singles place because Courier and Martin did so well against Britain.
Talk about these guys using the whole court. Great lunge on the last strings of the racket.
Led. First service. (40-50).
That was a good catch. Didn't drop it. I don't think he'll make the English cricket team in that case. Sorry, JB. Ow, ow. Stop hitting me.
Led. First service.
Well, there is Todd Martin keeping an eye on things.
Game Sampras. Sampras leads by 4-3. Second set. First set, Hewitt.
7 aces from Sampras, but it hasn't really concealed the fact, has it, that it's his ground strokes that have let him down, and still his timing. I can't believe that it's lasted this long. I mean, often a player will start a little bit erratically, but after 3 or 4 games, somebody of this experience should certainly be timing the ball properly.
Yes, you would think so. As I said earlier, I think Leighton Hewitt's down the other end going, okay, I'm a set up on the world #1, whose best surface is grass. I haven't really done much. I've played very good tennis, tough tennis. I haven't given him any free points. Served reasonably well, returned reasonably well, moved reasonably well, but nothing fantastic. And here I am up a set. So, and this is where Hewitt wins a lot of matches. He's a very good, solid counterpuncher. He will get the ball back, he will make the returns, and unless you play well, you will lose. And it's very similar in the way Michael Chang wins a lot of matches, in that he gets a lot of balls back, he returns very solidly, and you have to beat him. He's not going to beat himself.
No service breaks thus far in this second set.
Love 15. Let. First service. Love 30.
A rather anxious second serve. And the double fault opening the door
Again.
halfway for Sampras once more.
See what happens, see if he can take advantage of it this time. He should be making that return. It was a good accurate serve at 109 miles an hour, but he got his racket on it.
And still they won't run for him.
Couple of good first serves though from Hewitt. That's the way to do it. Don't have to be bullets.
Let. First service.
Well, you'd have expected Sampras really to have made a punch volley down the line there rather than trying that rather unwise little stomp volley, which wasn't a very good one.
That was a very poor selection of shots and a very poor execution. Very surprising. And at a crucial time too. I mean, it's clear that his head's not quite there today, up to date.
Remains to be seen if he keeps calm enough to exploit the situation of a less than perfect Sampras.
Advantage Hewitt. Let. First service. Four games over.
And full marks to the young man there. Again, in a spot of bother, love 30 down on his serve, and a double fault, that's always a nasty moment. But Sampras unable to take advantage of it. Still, the timing is not there.
Love 15.
This is a real danger period at the moment for Sampras. It was a good serve, but it didn't have an awful lot of pace on it. Ooh,
15.
Another inch. Another good return from Hewitt.
30-15.
Oh, yes, that was a better one. Brings up his ace tally to 8, I think. Not that that really has much significance, because it's been the rest of his game that's been a little bit below par.
Good solid volley, deep. Didn't give Hewitt quite enough time. His usual brilliant passing shots. He's clearly on looking for that down the line. He was covering that side of the court. Cross court wasn't quite good enough to get away.
That Sampras didn't hear. Scratching his head. Well, we have a machine doing it, and the bleep isn't audible to the public, but is to the umpire, which is the problem.
I'm not too sure about that machine, that machine. It does have its good days and bad days. There's the old Sampras. What a shot, what a pickup that was.
Sampras leads 5 games, 4 second set. First set, Hewitt.
He makes it look so easy when it's that sort of a situation. That he's been missing from the back of the court. That was instinctive, wasn't it?
Very much. The other thing is Pete Sampras has a very heavy racket, so once he gets his racket on the ball, that was just a good eye. Fantastic return too from Hewitt. Hewitt is making him play all the time, putting the pressure on Sampras and saying, up to all the time, I'm bringing it at you. It's like that, otherwise I'm going to beat you. And that's the way to play. Very, very heavy racket. I think he and Philippoussis got the 2 heaviest rackets. And I'm not going to tell you what it is in ounces, because I don't know, but they're about 390 grams.
You presumably swung them up them.
Yes, I used to use a very heavy racket myself, and a lot of the older players did, because we grew up with wood rackets, and they were never light. But most of the guys these days have lighter rackets, and that is the power that he gets, and certainly Philippoussis get. Once they get hold of that ball, boy, it stays hit, that's for sure.
Still, it's 4-5.
Love 15.
Well, I think hit the line twice more in the course of that rally, and just as you're thinking his timing is coming, he misses with another forehand.
Unfortunately, JB, the rain is also coming.
That's right, a little bit of drizzle, the crowd becoming a little restive. So the depth is improving. That's what defeated the young man there.
I don't think it'll be too long before they're off the court, fortunately. The court's going to get stuck and more slippery. Sampras will be hoping to get this point, go in with a break opportunity or a break. set, in actual fact.
Well, there's the timing. And at last, the world #1 plays more like somebody with that status. 2 set points. Awkward moment for both with this drizzle.
Again, second set Sampras, 6 games to 4, 1-2.
So, despite some rather indifferent form, Sampras makes it 1 set all. They've been playing for an hour and 11 minutes, and I have a feeling that the rain played a part in that.
Well, it's certainly hard to keep the concentration going when, you know, at any second they're going to call a halt to the game. And I would say that they're going to do it as the referee, the supervisor come out to have a look at the court. Players are walking off. Unfortunately, just getting a little too greasy.
Yes, Jim Moore there.
Plays suspended.
Yes, Jim Moore nearest us, and Jerry Armstrong, the supervisor. So they've decided after an hour and 11 minutes that it's too dangerous to continue, and play will be suspended. And let's hope that this break is no more than a short one, so that they can get back to action. Sampras having just levelled, it was a convenient moment for 1 set all for the break. To the second court. The reply is heavily undercut, keeping the ball low, and the two-hander, trusty as ever, rifles it back to the Sampras backhand, who now tries a topspin, not deep enough, so Hewitt can go on attacking. This time down the line, and the Hewitt forehand, quite simple, because again not really deep enough, and that one now allows Sampras to take action, because it too was too short. And now here's the defensive play from Hewitt, as Sampras comes in and really should have put that first one away, and certainly should kill this one. But no, he decides not to smash it, let it bounce, hoping for it to be long, but it's not. He's able to make it deep enough to prevent Hewitt from taking any offensive action. The slice again, and Hewitt now subjected to a big forehand from Sampras, and does well to get there in time to make his two-hander also a deep reply. And there is the forehand down the line from Sampras that he hoped was going to win the point, but no, back it comes. And finally the forehand is long, and tremendous reaction there from young Hewitt in the course of a set where he kept surviving from dangerous situations. He seemed, they said, to be very relaxed and taking this all in his stride. Of course, nothing to lose today, everything to go for. There they are, the Hewitt parents. And it remains to be seen, Pat, just how they start, how fast they start, because a quick start in a final set is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. For Sampras here to hold serve, he wants to hold serve, and he certainly doesn't want to start like he did last time they started. Beginning of the first set, took a while to get going. In fact, I would say that he didn't really come good until the latter parts of the second set.
So the rather treacherous surface which Sue Barker referred to, claiming an early victim. Sampras just pleased, I think, that he didn't do anything.
Yeah, I've got to say that players will be a little tentative, and that's not going to help Sampras at all. He's the one who's going to have to do the more abrupt moving around the net.
15-0.
So that wasn't a very nice start. Just have a look at this. Well, we'll see if we can get it for you in a minute.
First service.
So this is what happened. It was the right foot that buckled. That could have been a nasty one. Remembering what happened here last year to Greg Ruzetsky.
$15.30.
Well, this is danger time now for Sampras. 2 double faults, now going for the second serve in a row. Well, it wasn't really accurate enough, deep enough. Certainly didn't want a double fault. And that set Hewitt up for a couple of break points.
Hewitt, first game, final set.
So there was the quick start that he needed, Hewitt, returning the serve beautifully. Sampras tentative, and the 2-hour 5-minute gap has obviously hurt the #1 player in the world, rather more than the number 42.
Yeah, Sampras started very poorly in the beginning of the match. As I said, took almost 2 sets before he got going. And Hewitt very keen, fast, jumping up on those second serves, the opportunity to attack the second serve, and that's the only opportunity you're really going to get to attack Sampras' serve, because once that first serve goes in, you really are just doing your best to get the ball back in the court. And 2 double faults and so 2 short second serves just came onto the racket nicely for Hewitt. And a good swing, and Sampras is in real trouble.
Leighton Hewitt to serve. Love 15.
The thing that's quite unusual about Pete Sampras' backcourt game is he's not taking the opportunity of the short ball. He had a very short backhand from Hewitt, which he could have taken the opportunity and come into the net, but he was prepared to stay back. He's really playing to Hewitt's game.
It's almost a repetition of the early games of this match.
30.
Hewitt's turn to fall. The foothold here still just a little bit greasy.
Well, this is the more like Pete Sampras we know. Very, very powerful forehand. You can barely get there. Time and again today we've seen Sampras miss that forehand. It's clearly not anything technical. Certainly his cross-court forehand is one of the best in the world. He has missed a lot of forehands generally.
Hewitt leads 2 games to love.
So full marks to the youngster for going in then. And he would have been there, I think, to have made something of a volley if the ball had come over. So doing just what he did in the first set.
15 love.
Well, for the record, that's his 9th ace, but it hasn't been about aces today.
40 love.
Doesn't matter how many of those he serves if he can't break back.
Hewitt leads by 2 games to 1, final set.
So, Pat, is there anything one should prepare for when you've had a long delay like this, 2 hours?
Well, I think the most important thing is to get really warmed up again before you go out and, you know, literally be sweating. Have beads of sweat as you walk out on the court, because you know you've got to start quickly. I mean, I've seen some of the most incredible starts, people being down match points and having played for 5 sets and have to come out and actually serve 1 point. I was in one of those at Wimbledon when I was down, had to break serve after sort of staying overnight, sleeping overnight, had to come out and break serve to win the match, which I didn't. It's awfully difficult, but I tell you what, I warmed up for an hour and I was really sweating and ready to go and gave myself the best opportunity. And as you see, Sampras was just a little slow out of the blocks. It's a break, and he's had a lot of trouble trying to break serve with Hewitt. He's had his opportunities in the second set, but he's really going to have to be a bit more aggressive than he is. He's playing to Hewitt's game to the back of the court. Hewitt's just serving the ball in the court. Some very nice first serves, but then, you know, just Sampras is just staying at the back of the court, and he's not even taking advantage of the short ball, which is very surprising.
First service.
Such a good length approach to defeating Sampras. So important that extra proximity to the baseline just makes all the difference.
That's just a sloppy shot. There was no footwork, no intention. I don't know if he was trying to draw late Hewitt into the net, but it just looked like he was very happy to hit the ball into the net. There's just no fire at the moment in Sampras. See what this young guy's got a lot of fire though. He's pumped up.
Well. 30-50.
Four double faults now.
Let. First service.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the let court just hit the top of the tape. Enabled Hewitt to get to that ball quite easily, even though he did seem to lose his footing a little bit. Was able to make the passing shot quite comfortably.
Game Hewitt. Hewitt leads by 3 games to 1.
And well might Leighton Hewitt's parents applaud him. Sitting alongside them, Darren Cahill, the man who's coaching him these days.
Love 15.
And sort of a little slip and stumble at the end of that service action. So I think he's lost confidence in the foothold. That's one of the contributory factors.
15.
Yes, just checking the soles of his shoes. You'll see players tapping the shoes to get the dirt out of them when they're playing on clay, because it does clog up the pattern of the sole. But here, the regular footwear is spikes, sort of rubber spikes.
Game Sampras, new ball 3. Hewitt leads 3 games to 2. Final set.
Well, it is just one break that he's down, but there hasn't been much indication that he's going to be able to break unless he improves.
Well, the thing that interests me is a couple of things, really. First of all, where Hewitt's serving. Hewitt has been serving very cleverly. He's been very accurate with his serving. He's serving one wide on the first court, drawing Sampras out of court, going to the forehand, and then down to the forehand on the second court as well, or the backhand side. And Sampras' forehand, to say the least, has been inconsistent today. He's getting free points, and then every once in a while he's throwing it out to the backhand and hitting the lines, being very accurate. And all Sampras can do is to chip the ball back, get back into play, but he's not really hustling, and that's the main thing that I wonder if. You've really got to hustle this young kid. If you're going to beat him, you've got to put a lot of pressure on him. He's happy standing at the back of the court.
Do you think Sampras is just a little bit worried about the prospects for Wimbledon if he is perhaps, if he risks an injury by scrambling?
Well, I think that's fair. Yeah, that'd be fair to say. But this has been like this the whole match. And whether he's just having a bit of an off day or a little injured, I don't know. But Hewitt's certainly taken it up to him.
$15. $30.
Well, those of you who watch the game regularly will know that Bill Norris, the ATP Tour trainer, is the man they rely on to get them to fix them when something happens in a match. I just wonder whether Sampras has called for him to be there.
Wow.
$30.
Do that again.
So here's the test for young Hewitt, who's never had the chance to beat the man he's facing today, and it would be a huge scalp. Yes, well left. Well, that very point might be the most significant of the match.
Well, the thing that I found significant was the fact that it was a very short second serve, and Sampras didn't bother attacking it at all.
Out. Deuce.
Called by John Frame.
It did look like he reacted, the central umpire reacted to the player's reaction. Not saying it was in or out.
Ooh. Well, fine judgment.
I'll tell you what, the umpires used to react to John McEnroe. They're too scared to hear the yelling. Got away a lot of points that way.
Advantage Sampras.
Well, he makes ground well to his forehand this time, but still slips a little. Nevertheless, has to come back. Fortunately for him, the ball ending in the net. So a chance at last to break.
Deuce.
Here's another example of the still greasy surface.
Advantage Hewitt.
Well, I think he thought this one was possibly going out. Right in the corner. Fantastic shot. He's taking advantage of the short balls, really going for it. He would have thought it the other way around.
Deuce.
I'll tell you what, once he gets his racket on that ball and gets a decent swing, Sampras, it's brutally powerful. It really is. He's been missing quite a few of those on the run, the forehands, but that time he had enough time. It was high enough.
The look says it all.
That was a lucky shot there for Sampras to get that good drop volley. Sampras did well to pick it up. Hasn't been moving that quickly all match. Break point.
Well,
at long last, Pete Sampras goes for one of those back ends. It's been tentative all day. That time he really saw the hole and perhaps had a fraction more of a second. And that look, I think, said it all. It's like, oh, about time. It's back on target. Back on serve.
Well, we'll see if he can hold it together. Sometimes a young player will unravel. But I don't think he will.
Tell you what, he's going to try 100% the whole way, that's for sure. That one was a difficult one to get. He had to get it up over the net, past Sampras.
30. Game time. Sampras leads by 4 games to 3, final set.
So Sampras ahead for the first time in the set. Well, there is the mark of a champion, being able to find the shots when he most needed them. The backhand down the line, an absolute beauty. And on the face of it, he now has the match fairly comfortably in hand, but still against a terrier like opponent.
Quiet, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready.
Starting Monday, June 21st, everyone will be listening. Everyone.
So Sampras has broken this young man only twice all day. Well, he's played so well today, Hewitt. It would be a pity if now his form fell away, but he's had his chance, and it's so difficult to forget that. He was a break-up, remember, leading 3-1.
Well, Sampras is just not willing to run. He's very worried about his footing, about perhaps an injury or a niggle or something. He's just not moving very well at all to the wide forehand in particular.
Whoa.
There it is again.
40-50.
I would have thought it as a weakness that Leighton Hewitt may have done his homework. This is his favourite forehand as across court. The Sampras' forehand, it certainly has been working. There's no doubt about that.
Whoa.
Well, Sampras getting in after that second serve, something I would have expected him to do consistently during this match, which he hasn't done very much at all. By coming in, it's obviously going to put pressure on Hewitt. He's going to have a look, have a rethink about his game.
So full marks to Hewitt. Having lost his serve to make the match level in terms of service breaks, he at least went for his ground strokes and made them.
Out. 15.
And that's one of the toughest shots in the game, that one. That high backhand smash. It was fantastically controlled. And a lot of power too. I think certainly the heavy racket that Sampras uses helps. He really had to put it on to the ball.
One of the great exponents of that shot, a compatriot of yours of yesteryear, the great late Lou Hode.
15.
The best one I've ever seen, of course I didn't see Lou play, was Guillermo Vilas. He used to see him for, let's say for an hour, he would practice backhand smashes. Just smash, and he would hit it as hard as his forehand smash. Incredible snap on the wrist. Well, that was never going to be a winning shot past Hewitt.
30.
He knows how quick he can be. And having got there, so he's put his racket on the ball, it was going to go down the line for a winner. Fantastic running. And puts the pressure back on Sampras again.
42.
And there's the serve you talked about, JB, early in the match. That he landed halfway, if that, up the court, and it probably hit the people in the crowd before Hewitt even got a chance to move to it. Skidded that much.
Whoa.
Deuce. Advantage Sampras.
Well, he might be upset with himself, but it was a darn difficult shot he was asked to play there.
Yeah, I think he yelled line. Going down the line, it was a really difficult one to pull back from behind his body. Easier to go down the line.
Again, Sampras.
What ace?
Sampras leads by 5 games to 4. Final set.
Well, that 13th ace from Sampras now does begin to be meaningful because he has broken back and is leading again. And he's reluctant really to try flat out, isn't he, at the moment? He's holding himself in reserve, as it were.
Yes.
But this is the most wonderful delivery, eh?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's got a fantastic serve. And it's the wrist snap. His arm's very loose. And in a way, it's like a whip cracking. And right at the end of the whip is the head of the racket. And that's what gets snapped through so fast and produces the power. There's no doubt about it. It's a fantastic serve. I think probably only equaled by perhaps Ivanisevic's serve from the other side, left-hander. Which of course gives that little bit of an advantage.
Greg Ruzetsky, another one.
Ruzetsky, Krajcek, Philippoussis. And that's about the best in the world. You're not going to get any better than those guys. Now, can Hewitt hold on? If Sampras breaks, it's the end of the match. A lot of pressure for the young fella. Wants to get the first point. See if he goes wide. Tries to get a free point beforehand.
Let first service.
Sampras making quite good speed to this ball this time, at the moment when he needs to, though the forehand again fails him.
Well, he knew where it was going, Hewitt. I think it was probably the right shot, which just caught the bottom edge of the frame. Didn't get over Sampras' head.
Oh! 30-15.
I was just thinking, you know, if we had £1 for every forehand he'd missed today, you and I could have quite a night out.
Well, I know what you drink like, JB. It would be a good night. Tea, of course.
So there's going to be a change of racket here, is there? We'll see.
So, certainly better. He's going to get very far with that one.
That's it.
Does string his rackets very, very tight with a very fine natural gut, which means he does break a lot of strings.
They run off with them in the middle of the match and bring them back 20 minutes later, all strung to the right tension. You get attached to a frame sometimes, so you'd like to get that one back.
We haven't seen many of these well-constructed points from Sampras. The cross-court forehand, which has been so consistent, has not enabled him to use that slice into the far corner like that. He made a few more. Here we go, 30 all.
Oh, what a shot. Absolutely fearless here. He has to be. He commits himself 101% and goes for broke. Great play.
Hewitt. Five games over.
Just trotting into, what's he going to do? Change his racket? No, I think it's the little he's getting some of the stringerlings, the little plastic devices that protect the gut.
String savers, yeah, little plastic pieces go in between the gut, the cross strings, and protect it from rubbing anymore and fraying anymore. He probably wants that racket to last through to the end of the match.
Well, it's looked today as if Sampras has just been prepared to do just enough. He hasn't taken undue risks, and perhaps that makes sense.
Just enough, I think is the appropriate wording here. Just enough at this stage. They're slightly further behind the baseline then, so that risk for Sampras was less. He still almost got there.
Quite Agassi-like, that return.
Well, as poor of an effort, well, I shouldn't say effort, but as poor as this lob was, it was certainly the right shot to hit. And as I said, I think that doesn't look like it today, but I feel that is his best shot, is his lob. I've seen him hit many, many winners over players' heads.
Yes, his victory over Agassi in Adelaide in January last year was certainly due to two telling lobs.
Well, it doesn't have to always be power. It looks like he's going to hit it hard down the line, and he just rolls it across the front of Sampras. Got Sampras going the wrong way. Very well placed. Well, he's reading Sampras's serves now. That was the obvious serve. He does like going down the tee or the centre on the second court while under pressure. Hewitt knew it. I'm a poet and I didn't know it.
Advantage Hewitt.
Well, that ninth double fault might be very costly. It was partly due to the Relentless pressure that Hewitt has exerted from his returning.
Ball.
My word, what a serve.
Gee, he says, thought it might have been long. And I'll tell you what it could have been. That was very, very game. I think he took a leaf out of Ivanisevic's book, where yesterday, right smack in the corner, isn't it? Very gutsy play.
Advantage Sampras.
Frustration. So close. Frustration is a sign of nearness. That's certainly been the case for Hewitt.
Led. Second service. Sampras leads by 6 games to 5 final set.
Well, another good return, but a great pickup. Look at that Sampras really just sticking his racket out, hoping for the best. And this was too low to go do that shot. Just a fraction too low. So he had to get it up and get it dipping very quickly over that high part of the net. It was much easier to go across court, the hole, but he knew Sampras was going to run there. He's been running to that open gap all day. He just couldn't quite make it down the line.
How did you like the Sampras second serve at break point?
Oh, well, as I said, Ivanisevic did that, didn't he, when he was serving to stay in the match? I think he did 2 in a row. Absolute bullets on the line. And both of them could have been called out. And Sampras probably remembers that, because I saw him looking at the line for a very long time after those 2 second serves on match point down, or match point up to Sampras. And it's either very gutsy play or very stupid. And it's a fine line. It's a very fine line.
Well, when you make it, it's very gutsy. when you miss it, what an idiot you were.
Exactly. That's the way tennis is, isn't it? Should I go to his forehand this time? Oh, maybe not. Okay, I'll do it. When it goes past you, you go, oh, what an idiot. I shouldn't have gone for that. I should play more conservatively. But that's the great thing and the bad thing about, you know, players like that.
5-6.
15 love.
Ball.
Sampras is looking slow because he's so tentative to put the brakes on quickly. And I'm assuming that's the footing. And wide on the green grass court. He's just not stopping and getting back into court quickly enough.
40 love.
And the trouble is, in a match of this sort, really, you need to be able to scramble, to be effective. And that's the element of his game which has been missing today, throughout. So here's a more satisfactory forehand from Sampras.
6 games all. Final set, tiebreak.
So here is the shot that took the match into a tiebreak in the final set.
Thank you.
The accuracy is maintained.
1-0 Sampras.
Oh, I think you'll see both players attacking the other one's weakness here in the tiebreaker. You'll see a lot of serves going to the forehand. Certainly been the most inconsistent shot on Sampras, and Hewitt's backhand is his strength. Sampras really whipping underneath this ball. Look at the follow through. Not really getting in very far. And that ball from Hewitt there just dipping enough to make Sampras miss hit it.
Hewitt.
Well, he did what he had to do here. He had to come in from a ball that short and found a fine volley. No breaks yet against the server.
This ball wasn't that far away. Sampras just wasn't willing to have a go at it.
Oh!
Oh, he was lucky.
3-2 Hewitt.
So lucky was Sampras here.
That forehand passing shot, or the forehand return that clipped the top of the net, that was a clean winner. 1 inch higher, it would have gone straight past Sampras. So Hewitt was very unlucky. It's sat up. Maybe that's the break. Bit of luck that Sampras needs.
3-2. Well, the Sampras forehand that time did find the mark with searing accuracy. And I think Hewitt had forgotten to change ends in the excitement of it all.
Yeah, I thought he was looking for his lucky tennis ball. Some players are a bit like that. It's at the end of a match. Greg Rosetsky's like that very much. Give me that ball back, give me that ball back. I won that point with it. Well, Sampras had 2 great opportunities to follow into the net then. He's a bit reluctant to come in. And Hewitt's just chasing everything down. He's back on serve in the tiebreaker.
Oh, he had to rush the shot. Rush of blood to the head there.
It was an unusual shot from Sampras, a real strong slice forehand across court. So that's probably the first one that Hewitt's had to deal with. He did rush it a little bit.
Well, they say, Pat, that 1 or 2 points change a match, and it's certainly been the case here.
Not much in it. Tell you what, Hewitt will be disappointed not making that one. See Sampras going to the backhand side. Hewitt picked the right side. Now he's going back across court for Sampras. Go down the line, which meant that he would have had to, if even he guessed the right side, had to get past Hewitt again. He's got the break back now, Hewitt. It's back on serve. Well, that was some tension in that point. It must have been the shortest second serve of the day. Sampras was not willing to come in. Hewitt wanted to place that forehand across court. It was too high. Sampras hit the winner and is set with 2 match points.
Sampras. 2 sets to 1, 4-6, 6-4, 7-6.
So the applause around the ground for a tremendous match. I think Hewitt coming out of this with great distinction, but Sampras in the end prevailing so narrowly. 4-6, 6-4, 7-6. It's spanned 2 hours and 6 minutes of actual play, plus the 2 hours off the court. And Hewitt getting a huge ovation. And Sampras into the final once again, his third here, and the champion of 1995. Well, he survived only narrowly, just doing enough today, but I don't think he'll be particularly satisfied with his form yet as he nears the defence of his Wimbledon title.